Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Married Now Widowed. We're your hosts. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Nadine, and this podcast is about navigating life after loss through unfiltered conversations.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back.
Last week we did a bit of like a random Q&A.
Yeah, we did.
But this week we're sort of doing something similar but on one topic. So we've received a whole bunch of questions about moving forward with a new partner and just questions surrounding that topic. So we thought we'd just go through some of them.
Yep, and dedicate a whole episode to that. Because there's a lot, right?
Yeah, there is.
There's a lot to unpack with this one.
Yeah. And it probably, again, can't even fit into one episode, but we'll just do our best because there's just so much to it. So, okay, where do we start with this? So, is it bad to move forward? Not really on, because I hate when people say like
moving on. That's right.
Like, oh, she's moved on.
Yeah,
or,
so moving on for me, I feel like, and I remember there was a time where I was getting a lot of people talk about me. And some of the things they were saying was, oh, she's moved on. She's moved on. And let me just say that I hadn't even met anybody. It was simply about like going to dinner or that sort of shit. And people are like, oh, she's moved on already. She's moved on. And I'm like, hang on a second.
Yeah.
And so I felt the need to explain what moving on meant versus what moving forward means.
Yeah.
To me, moving on means forgetting what you once had.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Moving forward means you've not forgotten what you once had.
Yeah.
You just have to move forward with your life. Yeah. You will never forget what the life you had or the life you created. Yeah. You just have to move forward with your life. So, I don't know. I hate that.
You like make do with
you have no choice.
Yeah, with what's been given to you.
That's right.
Right?
That's exactly right.
I think as well, it's hard because it's not your choice.
It's not your choice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So divorce is obviously different. Someone made the decision.
That's correct.
Right? Whereas with death, it's nobody's choice.
No, you didn't wake up one day and say, I want to be a widow.
Yeah. Or
you didn't wake up one day and say,
I don't want this person
correct.
Anymore. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's very
really
different.
Yeah,
it is very different.
It is really different.
Yeah. I feel like moving on and moving forward are very two different things.
Yeah.
If I was divorced and then I met someone new. Yeah, I've moved on.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I've moved on from that person.
That's
I've moved on from what I had.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're right.
Yeah.
Moving forward, you weren't given this choice.
And I think moving forward, if you do meet someone, you're still bringing your old life into your new life.
Correct.
It's still incorporated, right?
And I think that's things that we will discuss on our podcast.
Yeah.
Because I think, you and I have had many discussions about this where, we've said things like, who the hell's going to accept us?
Or who would want to
Who would
be?
want to? Yeah, correct. Who would want to be with us?
Yeah.
And I don't mean it as in, oh, you've got kids and I think that's really old school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You didn't get divorced.
Yeah.
You're still very much in love with your husband.
Yeah.
You still love your husband.
Yeah.
You still talk about your husband.
Yeah.
You still have photos in your house, of your husband.
Yeah.
You are always going to the cemetery. You still celebrate your husband. You are constantly thinking about your husband.
You still have in-laws.
Correct. You still have a whole set of in-laws.
Yeah.
So, who the hell's going to accept that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, who would want to
that?
have that,
But I used to say that we both used to have these discussions and we used to, Kayla and I would talk about a whole heap of things.
We talk about everything and anything.
But before we started the podcast, we spoke about a lot of stuff. And this was one of the things we had discussed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember we were sitting out the back at your house.
Yeah.
And we spoke about this, and I remember we looked at each other and we were laughing, and we were like, who the fuck's gonna want us?
Yeah.
Right? Somebody who still has this life is still very much, you know, you talk about him, you is still very much a part of your life. Regardless whether they're you know, they've passed or not, right? They're still pretty much still very present, right? And we were like, who the fuck would want that?
Yeah.
Who the fuck would want to come into our lives and knowing that you still love your husband?
Yeah. But the answer to that is someone that's really mature.
100%.
And secure within themselves.
1000%.
Yeah.
And I think at the time that you and I had these discussions, we were very...
it was quite early on, I think.
It was quite early on, and it was at a time where we were like, oh, fuck, you know.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't even entertain it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so obviously now some time has passed.
Yeah.
And there are men out there that
Of course there are. Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. 100%.
That, like you said, are secure.
Yeah.
You know, and wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, mature enough to understand that it's just a different type of love that you're always going to have for that person. That doesn't mean that it doesn't mean it's going to affect your new relationship.
Correct.
You know, but it does take someone that's super secure within themselves
100%.
and emotionally intelligent enough to be understanding about it. Like personally, I mean, I don't know if I could be with someone.
I know,
like
we've spoken about this.
And I really don't. And that's like so bad because I, of all people, should understand.
That's right.
I don't know if I'm mature enough, to be honest. Like,
so if you met a widower.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think I don't know. I don't know. It's hard because you love
met a
them.
widower with kids.
Yeah. I don't know.
You wouldn't.
Well, I don't know if I'm mature enough. That's the truth. I actually
What do you
don't
mean?
know. Well, I don't know. I get jealous.
Yeah, but
I know the person's
okay, so
dead.
this is the
I
other.
know.
Yeah, like
I know, but that's
she's dead.
Well, yeah, well, that's
What
what,
are you
I'd be
jealous
saying
from?
to
A
another
dead
guy. I'd be
person?
like, "What's wrong with you? My partner's passed away. What are you jealous about?" But I don't think I'm mature enough. Would you be with a widower?
Shut up.
No, she wouldn't.
I think I would.
Would you?
Look, okay, let me rephrase that. If I was not, if I wasn't a widow.
Yeah. Then no.
And let's go back 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I met a widower.
Yeah.
And, you know, he had children.
Yeah.
And I had never been married before or whatever. Yeah, I reckon I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
But I reckon because I wasn't mature enough.
Yeah.
Whereas now,
Yeah.
I think I would.
Yeah.
Because I know what it feels like.
Yeah,
I
that's
know what,
true.
you know, I would never
true.
want somebody to, you know, not be in a relationship with me. What are you laughing at?
I just had a thought
Tell
of
me.
another reason. You know why I, as a widow, wouldn't want to be with a widower?
Here we go.
Two widowing people together.
Because your life would be depressed as
Yeah,
fuck.
fuck that. I don't want it both be sad. I just had that thought of like me with a guy that's lost his wife. I've lost my husband and we're both just miserable fuckers.
But you
with
wouldn't be
photos of-
because you would find happiness with each other.
Imagine us on New Year's Eve. And you know how people say, like, have people said that to you
What?
about like, oh, you need to find someone that's like a widow themselves. Oh, I don't want it.
People say to me, you need to find somebody who's lost their wife, or you
What a
need to
bright
find
future
like,
for
yeah,
you.
or you need to find like, you know, a guy that's divorced with kids.
I never get like a fresh single guy. It's
No,
always,
never.
You need to find
Yep, never.
Me too. That's so funny. Or you need to probably find someone that's looking for a second wife. You need to probably slot yourself in there.
That is just...
The bar is set high for us, I'll tell you that. But yeah, no, I wouldn't want a widower now. Not 2 widows in it. I don't think so. That's a lot. It's a lot of grief in one house.
Yeah, but if
a lot
you
of
think
cemetery
about it,
visits, a lot of sad days, a lot of dead people, photos of them. Where are we going to put all of our deceased stuff? We're going to have a really big house with everyone's stuff in there. Yeah, nah, not for me at the moment.
You need to get like a Kennard storage. A Kennard storage unit.
Yeah.
And you'd need to put everything in that.
And we'd both have weird little things that we do, you know, weird shit that we do. Like I'd
what?
be smelling my husband's T-shirts. He'd be fucking, I don't know.
Smelling her bras.
Yeah, nah. Okay, rule that one out. Anyhow, but no, I know what you're saying. Like, yeah, you have to be a certain, not everyone can date a widow. You actually can't, because it can be quite difficult.
Yeah,
and
I
you
think
need
so.
to, especially when there's kids, right? Because first of all,
But imagine being the male, right?
Yeah.
Like some males will be jealous. And I know this firsthand, not because it happened to me, but I have a friend and we're bringing her on our podcast in a couple of weeks to share her story. But she,
went through that
where somebody was like jealous of her husband who's passed away.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I just said I would be jealous, but it is a bit weird. Like if I really think about it. But I don't think I'm jealous of the person.
No,
it's
you're
more
jealous
just
of the feelings.
Yeah. You know what it's like? Prior to me being a widow, like let's just go back, say I was single, no kids. I never wanted to be with a divorced person, not because I give a shit that you're divorced, but because I want the first everything. I want the first marriage, the first birth. I want to be the first daughter-in-law.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I love that because I want to feel special.
Yes.
So I think it's nothing to do with the person. I mean, they're dead. It's not. There's nothing to be jealous over. It's the feeling.
Yeah.
So it's hard. You have to be.
Yeah, but not all people are like that. People are just jealous because they're jealous. Not because of the feeling.
The person's dead. Yeah. To be jealous
that's
about.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's hard. So I think when you have children in the mix, it's harder because I feel like there's a lot more attachment to everything. Not saying that if you're a widow and you don't have kids with your partner that it's worse or whatever, but I just feel like it's different. Families involved more, like their family, so your husband or your wife's family. I feel like they're involved more in your life. That could make the partner feel a certain way.
But also with the guy, don't you think that a lot of guys would feel like you're comparing?
Yeah, I do.
But that's why it does take a special person.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they're not out there because they are out there.
No,
There's a lot of guys out there.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm just...
And I've seen it. I see people on social media say the most beautiful things. Like I saw a reel a few months ago that was so sweet. It was a husband filming his wife with his daughter with his deceased wife.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you know, something about like... You ask how I knew she was the one or something, and it was like, this is her making my deceased wife a birthday cake with our daughter for her. But like that's beautiful.
Of course it is,
And there are people out there that will take that on. But I do think that it is difficult and it does require understanding from both parties, even 100%. From yourself.
Yeah, of course.
You know, because you need to be understanding about their feelings and respect how they feel as well.
Definitely. Yeah. And then also, I think we've been asked a question about replacing.
I hate that. It's not. You're not replacing though. It's not. You can't replace a person.
Yeah.
It's just simply moving forward
That's
with
right.
life. It's just life does go on.
You didn't choose this.
No, that's exactly right. And nobody's thinking about replacing a person that died.
Like I would never think, oh my God, like I met somebody and, I'm going to replace Mick.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's crazy. Yeah. But I hate that word because so many people use it, so many people, like when trolls and stuff are writing negative stuff on other widows' pages and stuff. I see it all the time. Replaced. It's not, nobody's you can't replace a person.
And
why would you want to? That's just crazy.
100%.
Like if someone has been blessed enough to find someone great in their life to move forward with.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Of course,
to be
amazing.
Honest, right?
And for somebody who, like you said earlier, has that emotional intelligence to walk into a widow's life, especially if she has children, make her happy, make her children happy, treat her well, treat her children well, and accept all of the, the other stuff that comes with it.
Yeah.
How, that's huge.
Yeah, that's right.
That is huge.
And you know what I hate? You know how last week's episode, I don't know what happened and we spoke about this, but we were saying like everyone else is okay after someone dies that's close to them to
but you're
continue
not.
to do everything with their spouse.
They move forward with their life, but
at the end of the day, your husband or your wife in a healthy standard marriage is the closest thing to you. They make you the happiest. You love to spend time with them the most. They're your other half,
they're
right?
your person.
So when people say things like, for example, people that are also grieving, but it's not their husband or their wife, and they make comments about not moving forward or not whatever. Sometimes I feel like saying, so why are you married then? Just leave your partner.
Can you,
Well, if people say things like, so let's just say there's someone that's close to the deceased also, but not a husband or a wife.
Yeah.
And if they make a suggestion that you shouldn't find someone new or shouldn't move forward with your life and re-engage with a partner or whatever, I just feel like it's just so selfish because if you think that this man or woman, this widow or widower doesn't need a partner in life and shouldn't have a partner in life, well, leave yours. Why are you happily married and holidaying and kids and buying houses and making future plans and having a great time and having someone to confide in,
all alone
being
and not do
with
anything,
someone, having all that. So you be single then too if you don't think it's an important part of life because all these people are married.
That's exactly
all
right.
these people have relationships or all these people are seeing someone or talking to someone.
Right.
So it's like, how come everyone else
it's
can
important to you, but it can't be important to us?
That's right. Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. So I hate that. That frustrates me a lot because it's unfair. Always
of course
unfair.
It is.
Anyway, we got a question. Let me just bring it up. So obviously one thing was what we just touched on, but we got a few questions on comparing. Not just the person, but the actual relationship.
Okay.
Right.
So I think that a lot of people out there would compare. And I'll tell you why. When you're in a happy, healthy marriage and that just got taken away from you because of, they obvious reasons, they passed away. Anyone new that comes into your life, you do start to compare. You'll compare. It could be anything. It could be, look at the way he chews.
Yeah.
My husband would never chew like that.
Yeah.
Look at the way he wears his shoes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My husband would never wear his shoes like that.
Yeah.
It could be anything,
Yeah.
right?
Small, big.
Right. Do I think it's right? No.
You have a real issue with comparisons. You do. We've spoken about it many times. You do. You think it's so wrong.
Do.
Yeah, but I think people do it subconsciously as well. It's not intentional.
Yeah, but why are you comparing?
Because they can't help it.
I get that, but at the end of the day,
they can't help it because they're used to such a certain way. You know what I mean?
yeah, but you will never move forward with your life and you will never be happy.
That's true.
With
You're not going to
anybody
move forward. Yeah.
if you are going to keep comparing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, at the end of the day, every widow out there is going to say, my husband was the best thing that ever happened to me. There's no one ever going to be like my husband. No one's going to treat me like my husband. You know, no one's going to love me like my husband loved me. I get that.
Yeah.
But if you're bringing that into a new relationship,
that's true.
then there's no point in being in that relationship because A, the guy that's come into your life is not going to feel secure within the relationship that you have.
Agree.
That's A. B, if you're throwing all these bloody, you know, all these insults at him and okay, some people might not be saying it to the person, but if you're criticizing and comparing this new person in your life to your husband that passed, you're never going to be happy.
That's true. That
no
is
two
true.
hands are the same.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
No two hands are the same. What you had was unbelievable. You loved him. You were in love with him, especially if you have children together. He's the father of your kids. You know, the memories you had, like you will never ever forget that. You can't be comparing that into your new life.
Yes, agree. But I also think that it can be difficult because of the circumstances. So, for example, again, if you get a divorce, there's things that you didn't like. Someone didn't like something about someone, right?
Yeah.
So usually when people get divorced, they're relieved. You know, I don't often, I mean, there's a very small percentage of people that are devastated over their divorce, right? Majority of people are like, thank God he was this, he was that, he can't stand, blah, blah, blah. So it's super easy. You meet this new guy and you're like smitten, you know, you're like, oh my God, this is a breath of fresh air, refreshing. But when someone passes, and again, let's just say you had a relatively healthy relationship, it's really hard because you also kind of forget all their flaws because they've passed away too.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? So while you're in the marriage, you might have...
I'm not saying that you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that
it's not right.
It's not right.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Not right.
But I think people just can't help it.
You can't be taking that into your new relationship and this new life that you're wanting to build and create with somebody, right? It's just not gonna. If you keep comparing this new person in your life to your husband, you won't be satisfied. I'm telling you, because like I said to you, every widow is going to say, my husband was the best thing that ever happened to me. My husband, the way he treated me, no one will treat me like him. The way my husband loved me, no one's going to love me like him, right? So imagine bringing that and meeting new people and that is implanted in your head.
Well, I know. That's why I'm not mature enough. I'd be thinking like, does she cook better than me? You know, things like that. I'm telling you, I'm not mature enough to handle this. Like, I'm just not.
But I'm just saying, if there are widows out there that, you know, are wanting to or are
you have to
in that headspace now where they're like, you know what, I wouldn't mind meeting somebody.
No, I agree. Yeah.
I just think that
you do.
I get you're going to compare, but it's not going to be like, it's not healthy to do that, because then you're forever going to compare, and you're going to meet new people and you're going to be like, no, he's not the one.
Yeah, it'll just be no. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you need to draw the line somewhere. Yeah. I don't think it's healthy to compare.
No, I agree.
And, you know, then you've got the whole guilt side of things.
Well, somebody asked about that, about, what did they say? Hold on. Can you talk about feelings of guilt in wanting to move on with someone new? Yeah.
I think that you're going to feel guilty
Yeah.
because I think in your mind,
It's normal. Yeah.
it is normal.
Yeah.
But in your mind, you know, we spoke about replacing, right? Subconsciously, I think you're going to think about, especially the first person you meet,
Yeah.
you're going to think, fuck,
Yeah.
I'm replacing him.
Yeah.
You're not replacing him. You're not replacing him. You know, again, you didn't choose this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always say, think about what he would want. He wouldn't want you to be alone and miserable.
Of course not.
At the end of the day as well, you know, back in the day, right? Like back when I'm talking like our parents.
Yeah.
And widows didn't move on.
Yeah.
They stayed single,
Yeah.
raised their kids, and just didn't move on. Didn't remarry. I feel like it's just very different now. Like,
I agree.
It is so different now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure that our husbands wouldn't want us to be alone.
Yeah.
You know, your kids are going to grow older.
Yeah.
They're going to get married.
Absolutely.
And they're going to move out.
Start their own life. Yeah.
Where
And
does
you're
that
left
leave
there
you?
by yourself.
That's right.
And you know what? It's funny because every time like a client of mine comes in and we talk about a husband passing, majority of the time, like they're never like, oh, my husband passed away too. Usually it's like, oh, my dad passed away when I was young, right? And I always ask, how did your mum handle it, and did she move on, and blah, 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 right? The ones that tell me that, yeah, she eventually met someone, he's amazing, he was really good to us, blah, blah, she's happy, you know, blah, blah, there's that side of things. And there's a percentage that tell me, oh, no, like she didn't end up meeting anyone. And I ask, like, what's she like? Like, is she okay by herself? Like, whatever. And it always comes with, you know, there's a around them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're fine. They're living, they're whatever. They've got grandchildren now. That's brought them a little bit of happiness and whatever. But it's always like a
miserable.
Whereas the other side of people are like still, yes, obviously they carry it. These are their husbands, right? They're going to carry it forever, but there's still happiness around it, and life's good. You know, life's nice, life's happy. There are happy moments. So I always think about that, because especially with the kids, right? Now it's fine. Your kids are dependent on you. They're with you. They're going to be with you for probably another, 15 years, whatever. But after that,
what happens to you then?
Just you know,
Just
and
you
I
on your
know
own.
personally, I mean, none of my parents are still alive, but they're divorced, and I want them both to have partners. Like, it is my sole mission for both of them to be happy and married, because I think when they're not, it affects you. Yeah. Number one. And you just feel so guilty. You don't want to go out, get married, leave the house, start your own life, because you're like, what about my parents? You know, so even from a child's perspective, as divorced parents, there's nothing I want more than both my parents to be, or not even marriage, whatever, in happy relationships. Yeah. And you want to see your parents being treated right by someone, taken out, you know, living life. Because at the end of the day, I grew up, I moved out of my house, I started my life with my husband, I had a kid, we were living our life, holidaying, whatever. We weren't sitting with our parents at home. So you want to make sure that they're happy, they're being looked after, and that they've got a life that's, you know, it's fulfilled. Yeah, you know? Definitely. So I think there's so many aspects of it, but I do think that it's a different story if you just don't find anyone. If you just don't have luck. I mean, I feel like if you that's still sad, because it means sad, that, you know, you're gonna. what do you do?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
If you
right.
don't meet anyone,
You don't meet anyone. You don't meet anyone.
But
100%.
I feel like if you live your life after your husband or wife passes away, putting yourself through hell, you actually do want to meet someone, but you're scared of judgment or guilt or whatever. It's miserable to live that way.
It is miserable.
You know, it's so unfair.
And I think a lot of people out there will feel guilty.
Of course they
guilty
will.
first and foremost.
And that's okay though.
It's normal.
To feel guilt.
That is so normal. You're going to feel guilt, right?
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
But then also judgment, you know?
Yeah.
You're going to get judged.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And you're going to feel, let's just say people don't say it to your face.
Oh, yeah, I know, but you still feel it.
You feel it. You feel like people are going to judge you.
Even if someone says like that they're happy for you, you still feel...
You're like, you're full of shit. You're not fucking happy for me.
Yeah, or you might be a little happy, but I know in your head you're thinking, like, you know, it's, you know, oh my gosh, I always say this and I don't know how to explain it to people that aren't widows or widowers. It's such a fucking unfortunate event for us. Like, I know someone died and I get it, but for the other person, it's like a lifetime of like, forget the grief, put that aside. There is so much that comes with it. That's just so like, the only word I can use is like, it's slack. It's just so slack for the other person.
It
like,
is.
You like, and it's so much judgment from everyone weighing on this person's life. What a miserable fucking life. It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I always say I feel sorry for myself.
Yeah.
Always.
No, and you
Because
have a right
it's
to
like,
feel sorry for yourself.
Oh, God. Like, people just don't get it unless you've been through it.
100%. And then once, like, let's just say you do meet somebody, right? Then you have the whole in-laws. You already have a set of in-laws.
I know, now you got two.
What are you going to do there?
It's hard to navigate, I'll tell you that. Do you remember I always used to tell you, and most other people, that it actually, for me, isn't about not just guilt, not just judgment, no, but more so about the energy you have to put in to a new partner and their new family, and just the speed humps that you go over just to navigate and get to a good place is so hard, especially when you have kids. How does the kid feel? Are they going to get along with the kid? What does the kid call the person? What are they like? It's so exhausting. And that's
another thing, right? If you have children, how do you now, you know, potentially try and start a new life with somebody that you've met, and also, you know, have your kids there? Because kids are young, like what? Like, are they going to understand? Like, they're going to be thinking, "Oh, my mum's replacing my dad." You know, do I have to call this guy dad now? He's not my dad.
So, do you see? It's almost easier to just
you're getting punched in every angle,
direction.
Yeah. Any angle you look at. However, again, I know that there are going to be challenges. I know that every widow who is choosing to move forward with her life, I know that you are going to face challenges. You're going to go through,
of course,
you know, obstacles. It's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
But I feel like if you meet the right person, everything will fall into place. I'll tell you why.
I don't agree.
I'll tell you why. Because naturally, you'll know what to do.
Yeah, but I don't think it's so much you. I think it's everyone else. It's so much outside noise.
For me, the only people you need to care about is yourself and your children.
It's true.
If you meet somebody that treats you right and treats your son right, why do you care about what anyone else thinks?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the first to say, like, who gives a fuck?
You're the first person to say you don't give a fuck about what people think.
I am, but it's so tiring constantly. It's so exhausting. Just fuck off. Just shush. Just be quiet.
Yes.
Like, it's so much constantly. And, you know, I think, like...
You know what?
What?
No, I'm sorry.
What?
You would have to agree with me.
What?
That when you meet someone, naturally things will fall into place. Do you not think, let's just say you met someone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you not feel naturally things will fall into place?
No. Because I think there's so many other people that make it difficult for you. Your
okay, but would you let
family.
would you let that come in between you creating a new life?
It's not going to come in between, and it's not going to stop me, but it is an extra headache. And I feel like when you've been through what we've been through, you're just already tired.
Yeah, you are.
Like you're always, like I feel, and I tell you this all the time, it's like constantly pouring from an empty cup.
Yeah.
Like I don't have anything more to give. I don't have any like arguing, explaining. I don't have anything left in me. I'm tired. Just leave me alone. Like I'm just exhausted. I don't want to hear it. Just fuck off. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
exhausted by it. For everything, there's always something. Your whole life is there's just always something with this. There's always a stigma. It's not what people think. It's not, you're going to be so supported by your family and your friends and everything's going to be, it's nothing like that. Do you know how many DMs, I don't know if you've noticed lately, we've had about, can you please talk about what happens to what your friends put you through and what your have you seen how many DMs we've had about that? It's such a common thing because it's so true. People think, oh, my friends are going to support me through this. No, they don't. But
I personally think that if your friends are not going to be there to support you through everything that you go through in life, then fuck them off.
No,
They're
I
not
do
your
agree,
friends then.
but I also
You don't want people like that in your life. I want people who are going to be there for me that are going to support me.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
Kayla, let's just say my husband hadn't passed away. Your husband passed away. You and I were friends. We go way back.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to be there for you through, you know, everything that you went through when you lost your husband. And then after that, if you come to me in a year or 2 years' time and you say to me, oh, Nadine, like, you know, I met someone. Sorry, what the fuck am I going to be? What am I going to say to you? Oh, my God, are you fucking moving on?
Yeah.
What? Sorry, what?
Yeah, I know. It's weird. People are weird though.
Of course I'm going to be like, as long as you are happy and he treats you and your son, because ultimately that would be my priority.
Yeah, yeah.
My priority would be that you treat me right and you treat my children right.
Yeah.
And I know that if I was to ever entertain meeting somebody, I know that my husband, the only thing he would care about is that my kids are treated well and that I am treated well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What am I going to get cut about because you're a widow now and your husband passed away, you have a child? Why am I going to be, as your friend, why am I going to be cut that you've decided to move forward with your life? You've met somebody. Am I not going to be so fucking happy for you that, oh my God, at least she's not going to continue to be alone. At least she's like, you know, she's met somebody and she can enjoy life with this person.
I agree with you for sure, but I just know that not everyone out there is like that.
But that's what I'm saying. That people like that, you don't want people like that in your life.
Yeah, I agree.
You really don't.
But then I think it's also really difficult for people because not only do they have to deal with...
But your friends, for example, let's just say, those DMs that we're getting are the friends, right?
Yeah.
They have the relationship with you. Yeah. You're their friend.
Yeah, not your
husband.
Yeah, I know. That's weird, isn't it? But you know what, I also think it's really hard. Like these people that are sending in these stuff about their friends, right? Not only are they grieving, not only have they lost their best friend, their husband or their wife, not only are they going through everything that we've mentioned in the last however many episodes, but then they also have to lose a friendship because they're not being supported. And that's really hard for people.
Of course it's hard.
You know, just because... like it still hurts. It's still hurtful. Do you know what I mean? Even if the person doesn't agree or they're like, you know what, stay out of my life.
Oh,
You don't
no,
talk about
I
it.
agree with you. I'm not
them.
saying that it's not going to be
Yeah, it's not
hurtful.
easy to fuck them off.
It's not easy to fuck them off. But at the end of the day, why do you want people in your life that are not going to be there for you and support you?
Yeah. No,
because of a decision that you have made.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect them.
Yeah,
how is it affecting them?
Too, isn't
My
it?
decision is not affecting anybody. If I've decided the only people I need to worry about are my children.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's who it's going to affect.
For sure.
It's not going to affect
anyone else.
Anyone
literally
anybody else.
As
long as I can, I ensure that I'm maintaining a relationship with my in-laws, with my friends, with... What do you give a fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. People are just weird like that. That's just people though. You know, people are so, babe, how many times have we talked about this in other episodes? People are just invested in things that just have nothing to do with them for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, that's how it is.
Yeah, I know.
I guess. I don't know. Okay, let's go back to our questions. So there's one actually, I mean, we've just touched on it slightly, and we've actually touched on it in previous episodes, but in-laws and moving on, right? So I always try and put myself in other people's shoes.
I wouldn't be able to tell them. What do you say to them? Hi.
See, I'm trying
I've met someone.
it's awkward. Isn't that awkward?
It's hard. Okay. Look, it's not easy.
No,
I'm
again,
not saying
another
that
not
any of this
easy
is easy. It's not easy. I'm definitely, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that any of it is easy.
No, it's not.
But if you decide to move forward with your life, you are not doing anything wrong. At the end of the day,
absolutely, 100%.
You are alone. You have children. You're not doing anything wrong, right?
Absolutely.
So when it comes to in-laws, yeah.
Look,
I don't know.
I don't have, so I'm obviously the female in my marriage. So I try and put myself in other people's shoes. I don't have a brother, so it's hard. But I try to imagine if I did have a brother and he passed away and his wife moved on. Forward, how would I feel? I don't know. Because I only see it from my perspective now. For now, it's easy for me to say, like, what's it to me? Let the girl live. Like, she was a good wife while she was with my brother. She did all the right things by my brother and our family. She didn't divorce him. He didn't divorce her. He passed away. What, like, leave the girl alone. Let her move on. Yeah. Forward, whatever. But I don't know. I don't have a brother. So I don't know.
So I have brothers.
Yeah, you do.
And, God forbid, like you just said, I would never think that they're replacing my brothers. I would never think that they didn't love my brothers.
But is that because you're a widow?
No, I don't think so, because I did speak about this in a previous episode where I have my auntie's husband, where his brother passed away.
Right, yeah.
And his wife met somebody.
How long after?
I don't know exactly how long.
Rough, like under 5 years.
Honestly,
have no idea.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm, for some reason, I don't know why, I'm thinking a couple of years after.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I can clarify. But I don't know. I saw that, and she met somebody, and now he's a part of the family,
And this was
and his
before
children.
Nick died?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were still understanding, and you weren't a widow back then, so you had no idea what it was
That's
like, and you
right.
still were like, oh, this is great.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly
so
right.
you've always been
Yeah,
like that then.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, and I remember just thinking, this is the most beautiful thing ever.
Yeah.
And then seeing the dynamic between, my auntie and her husband, and with his sister-in-law and her new husband and their children.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Is amazing.
I know.
Because she had a son from her previous marriage. And then he has children from his previous marriage. And then they had a daughter together.
Yeah.
So like
Such
it's
a
just this
blended
beautiful
family.
blended
I
family.
love that. Yeah.
And it can be done.
Of course it can be done. 100%. I've seen it being done before as well. It absolutely can. But I think that people who end up with a dynamic like that are pretty lucky, to be honest.
They are.
Like, they're lucky. I don't see that always happening. And I don't even know if it's like happens the majority of the time. I feel like that's a bit of a minority, but you're so lucky if that's your
Definitely.
situation, and you're lucky to have family and in-laws and friends that are so understanding, and so like, that's so refreshing. Just hearing her story is like, oh, that's so refreshing, right?
I know.
But, as I said last time, again, I try and put myself in other people's shoes. But if someone wasn't comfortable with it or wasn't happy with it, I could still respect that. I can still be like, that's okay. You do you, I'll do me. Do
you think there are people out there that wouldn't?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes. What? Absolutely.
Okay. They might have an issue with it.
Do you know our community? Who are you? What?
Yes. Okay. But hear me out. It's one thing to just be a little bit cut about it, right?
Internalize your feelings.
But do you think they would actually stop speaking to the widow if she moved on?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah.
And she had children?
Yeah, I do.
So they would give up a relationship with
I'll
the
tell you
niece
why.
or the nephew.
Yes. I'll tell you why. Because these people, at the end of the day, you're selfish, right? You are, because
Oh, they think you're selfish.
no, they're selfish.
Oh, them.
Right?
I thought you're selfish.
No, they're selfish. And they're selfish because, and me and my sister-in-law always talk about this, not in this context, but in life in general. You showing love to someone, I feel like, is the strongest when you do something that actually makes you uncomfortable, but you do it because you love them, right? So, for example, this is just an example that I'm using. Let's say my sister-in-law, I come to her and I tell her, hey, look, I've met someone, right? If she supports me, even though she is either uncomfortable with it, maybe doesn't think it's the right thing to do, whatever the case may be, but she puts the way that she feels to the side for my happiness and because she wants to see me happy, and she's not putting her own feelings on top of mine. For me, that is like the truest form of love. When that's selfless, that is so selfless to be. And that can be we speak about that in so many different situations in different forms, right? Because that's how I feel like that's when you really love someone. When you actually, for once, you're like, you know what? I'm not going to put myself first because this isn't my place. This isn't my time.
It's not about me in this situation.
Me. This is about this person and what's best for them. And I love them that much that I'm going to like sit this one out. I'm going to be there for them. I'm going to support them because
it makes them happy.
It's like my true, I love you properly.
Yeah.
You know, it's different. Like, for me,
and you don't think there's a lot of people out there that are like that?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I do know there are a lot of people that aren't like that. I'm not sure if there's a lot. I don't really know. I just feel like it's easy to love someone and support them when everything they do is in your favor. It becomes hard when they do something that you might not agree with, but you're still cheering them on. You know, definitely. So that for me shows true love, you know, and how much you actually love someone and value them in your life.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the majority of people. I don't know. But I think, I mean, I don't know. It's a hard one. It's really hard. And again, it's hard from every single angle.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like when you've,
it's fine.
When you've made that decision.
Yeah.
And you've met somebody and I'm not saying it's going to be easy because having that conversation with your in-laws is probably going to be the hardest thing that you will do other than burying your husband, right? Yeah. Because like,
it is hard, isn't it?
Yeah, because you have to sit in front of them and be like, I know, just thinking about it, right? But I feel like when you meet somebody that makes you happy and treats you well, treats your children well, I feel like it'll automatically just come to you. You're not going to care because you want to be with this person.
Yeah.
You're not going to care about what people say about you, what people think, you know, what people think about you. You're not going to care.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. I just think it still comes with just so much hard.
Of course it does.
You know.
Of course.
Like you can
But then it's like anything, right? It'll be hard for a little bit.
Yeah, and then things will 100%.
Yeah, things
100%.
fall into place. Everyone gets used to it and then you're not going to be the talk of the town.
You know what, actually? I would love for people to, if you've done that, if you have sat your in-laws down or sat your own family down, right? Because sometimes it's your own family that's difficult too.
No, but I feel like your family would be more accepting if you moved on.
They would definitely be more than in-laws for sure, but you never know. So if you've sat down in front of them, can you write in and tell us how it went?
Please let us know.
Because I would love to hear like reactions, and good or bad. Like if it went really well, I want to hear about it, and if it went really fucked,
bad,
I want to hear about it too.
Yeah.
So please do, because I know that there's a lot of people that message us that have moved forward and they have new partners and they have a family and whatever. So I'd love to hear, how did it go down with you and what happened? Because I think that's super interesting. Yeah. That'll be good. Yeah. So look, I don't know. I think that when it comes to moving forward, you need to, as we always say in every episode, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling.
1000%.
Allow yourself to feel the guilt. Allow yourself to feel the whatever it is. It's not wrong to feel that way.
It's not wrong. You're going to feel like that.
But just know you're not doing anything wrong.
You're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
You're not, because like we said before, you didn't choose this.
Well, that's the highlight that, right?
Yeah.
Nobody chose that.
That's exactly right. You did not choose this.
Yeah.
You didn't choose to become a widow.
Yeah.
This wasn't the life that you had envisioned.
That's exactly right.
You envisioned a life with your husband, you know, having children and just creating a beautiful life together.
Yeah. Can I say something funny?
Yeah,
it's not funny, but so you know how we always talk about people after your spouse dies, and then you have like two crews. One crew is like the next day they're like, you're going to move on, you're going to be blah, blah, blah. And then you've got your other crew that's like, I hope you're miserable forever, right? Yeah. It's funny because...
But won't openly tell you that, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, depends, right, on the people. Some may. The crew that are like, you'll meet someone, you're young, you're beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Like that same crew, when you do meet someone...
Do you think they're going to talk shit?
Yeah. 100%.
Really?
Yeah, 1,000,000,000%. They can't help it. They can't help judge.
Why?
They just can't help it, babe. They cannot help it. I'm telling you. I am telling you, which is just so funny because it's like, I'm not listening to you. You don't even know what it is that you want for me. I mean, I don't even know you. You're like,
but then that's
the
when you can
neighbour's
throw it
auntie,
back in their face and be like, hang on a second, weren't you a part of that crew that told me, you know, you'll meet someone and you're still young and, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know if people just say things because they don't know what else to say, so they say anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes people say that just to be like, it's okay.
Just to say it, yeah.
You'll meet someone.
Yeah.
It's guilt.
Yeah.
It's guilt.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's guilt.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, people are like, did you hear?
I said, you'll be the talk of the town.
Yeah.
Hot minute, and then people get over it.
Yep.
And then people will get over it.
Yeah.
So overall, I feel like, you know, whenever the time, you know, comes for you that you feel like you want to, you know, meet someone that you can see yourself moving forward, I feel like you're not, I will repeat this. You are not doing anything wrong, honestly.
Of course you're not.
And you'll feel guilty for a little bit. That's only normal. You're going to. But eventually, that'll wear off.
Absolutely.
And some people might not feel guilty.
And that's cool too.
Of course.
Okay
that's
as well.
amazing if you don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
That's so good if you don't feel guilty.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah. 2 things always. So if you are moving on or moving forward or have moved forward or have, I don't know, thinking about meeting someone or whatever, because I know that majority of our listeners are widows or widowers, do it. Do it. Right? So if no one else is encouraging you to do it, I'm encouraging you to do it.
Yes, definitely. We're both encouraging you to do it.
So I think that's amazing. And we love to hear, like, a lot of our DMs are filled with like sad stuff, but we do like to hear stories of people writing in where they're like, you know, I lost my partner 15 years ago or whatever. I'm now blah, blah. It's so nice to hear that. It's refreshing.
It is.
It's nice to hear that. And then always, because I always talk to support people, because I feel like we have a lot of support people on here too. I mean, I always tell you guys not to judge people, but especially if you are a support person for someone that has lost their spouse and they come to you with this type of conversation, just support them, because I feel like there might not be a lot of people that are going to openly support them.
And not just that, right? But like, let's just say, again, I'm not a widow and you're my friend and you've met somebody, right? You are already going to feel guilty.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
So you coming to me and telling me, Nadine, like, I want to tell you something. You know, I met someone, right? My words to you are going to be, oh my God, Kayla.
Yeah.
Tell me everything.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
Right. Yep.
And just those words
speak volumes. Yeah.
It's going to not remove that guilt entirely.
No, but
it's going to make you feel better.
Absolutely. It's going to help the person.
It will, and it will help the process.
Absolutely. And just to know that they have you to support them in that particular area is huge. Like if they know that they can come to you 100%. With stuff like that is massive.
And also, because we're talking to support people, you guys shouldn't be comparing either. Yeah.
Oh, that's a big one. Oh
because
my gosh.
If we're not already comparing,
oh my God.
Okay?
Yes.
We might not voice it internally, I'm sure. I said this before. It's going to happen. Do I think it's right? No, it's not, right? But for those people out there who are a support person, even if they don't say it, at some point they are going to think it.
Absolutely.
So don't go and compare their
It's the worst thing you can do. And it makes the
Partner who
person
has
feel like
passed
shit.
away
Yeah.
to their new partner.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Actually, good or bad
Yes.
ways.
Yes.
Whether it's, oh, so-and-so would never talk to you like that, or, oh, he treats you so much better than so-and-so.
Yeah.
Both ways. No
Exactly.
good, no bad.
Exactly.
Zip it. No comparisons, okay? Because
That's
we're already
right.
going through enough in our heads and fighting our
Exactly.
own battles in our
That's
minds.
right.
So, yeah, I'm
You
so
should
glad you
just
brought that
be
up.
there.
I hate that.
Yeah.
That is the worst. That
course
is the
it is.
worst. Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know?
glad you said that.
Yeah. I feel that's important too.
Very,
it's very important.
Very. And, honestly, I actually think that it's so rude. I think it's so
Yeah, it
rude
is.
to do that. You know
Like
what
imagine
I mean?
you meet someone
I
and
know.
I'm like,
And someone's like,
and okay, and then let me add something else. If you have a widow or widower
yeah,
who is there, if they're comparing,
yeah,
you need to snap them out of it.
yeah, yeah.
You need to snap
Well,
them out
if
of
you're
it.
currently moving forward with someone and finding yourself comparing, hit up Nadine. She
Hit
will
me up.
snap you right out of it.
I will snap you right
Yeah,
out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
I definitely will.
I know. You're
Yep,
very.
just DM me.
Yeah, yes.
DM me, guys. I'm telling you.
100%.
Yep,
100%.
I'll
But
put you
no,
in
you're
your
right.
place.
If you are a support person, snap the person out of it.
Snap them out
Stop-
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
it's not good. It's not good for
it's not right.
their
No.
new relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And you know what? Also, for those who are dating a widow, widower,
Yeah.
etc., they have such a big job. They do. They really have
They
a big
do.
job, right?
They
I'm
do.
not saying like, obviously the widower
Especially
is,
one with children.
a massive job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a whole other episode, I think, about how as a widow or a widower we would
We
want to be.
touched on it a little bit,
Yeah,
but
but
I think we
can
need
dive
to
really
we
deep
can.
into that.
We definitely
So you know
can.
what? I'm not going to say anymore. We'll leave it for another episode because I
let's do
feel
that.
like we know what we want or what we would want or expect from a new partner and
Yeah.
how to navigate us
Yeah.
as people that are still grieving and still hurting.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
we'll leave that for another episode.
Yeah.
All righty. Well,
All right, guys.
thanks for watching.
Yes.
As always, anything you want to hear about, questions, anything you want our opinions on, you can find us on all platforms at Married Now Widowed, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.